And there's the very back of the shuttle where those engines are connected to. Hello, this is VJ from Hearns Hobbies, and I've got a little open boxing today. It's going to be this Academy Space Shuttle kit. Now, this is quite a popular kit, and especially with all the boosters on it, it's not always available, but when we do get them, they're always very popular. Now, this particular kit is 1:288 scale. It's a bit old, I guess, but I guess it's very similar to 1:144 scale, and they've just halved that because 1:144 scale is often quite popular scale with commercial type airliners. Not quite a commercial airliner, but I guess it sort of fits within that easy calculation type of scaling. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Small kit, great for beginners. Let's have a closer look from the top camera. All right, so there's a box art. It's quite dynamic box art actually. So you've got a frontal top view, bit of the Earth in the background, get a bit of an idea of this is the actual separation happening here. But when you see inside, got a little bit of an idea of what it looks like on the side of the box. You'll get a better idea of what this kit's going to end up looking like. All right, so here we go. We've got the box open up. We've got a nice base for display. Got a couple of extensions there on the base. This is where the boosters are going to be slotted in to make the whole model stand upright. Let's just put this aside here. And we'll do a bit of zooming in a bit, I think, so I can get a bit of a better idea of what we're looking at. Get that into focus. There we go. Okay, so there's your base. It's quite a nice broad base, hollowed out. And it's good to have a base too, because otherwise it's not going to sit properly at all, and it won't look right horizontal. So that's a nice touch. All right, so let's put that aside. All right, what we have next is the most recognizable parts. This is the shuttle itself. Okay, so the kit itself is going to come with some parts which you won't be using, because there's also another kit which includes this on top of the 747 type transporter, and that's what this part here is. This is the actually streamlined part which caps on the back of the space shuttle, so that it's aerodynamic as it's being towed, I guess you call it, as it's piggybacking back to base. But you can see the multiple parts here and how it's cleverly been molded in a couple of different colors. It's been color separated here because this is the normal black section of the heat shield, and then the larger proportion of the shuttle is in white. Okay, so you can see parts of the boosters there, they'll slot in here. You got the vertical stabilizer, and then these are the actual struts which connected it onto the 747. So these parts here you won't be using at all. This part here probably not either, because I think they're the side plates for the actual 747 horizontal stabilizers. Okay, if I do a little bit of tighter in here, we'll see some of the detail of the space shuttle itself. Let me just get that focused in nice, tight. There we go. So you can see there's some panel lines. Let's see if I can get that right there. It's a bit hard to see what I'm doing here, but you might be able to see some of the panel lines there. There we go. So even for a small model, it's got some nice detail. In the front you can see the jets there for controlling it while it's in space. You've got the cockpit area there as well. Over here, okay, they're the horizontal stabilizers. You won't be using those. There's the vertical stabilizer for the actual shuttle. That itself's got some nice surface detail. You've got the booster covers there. And then there's that aerodynamic bit that you won't be using. Okay, we'll put that aside, and then we'll look at the heat shield on the bottom, all black. Okay, you've got some basic detail on the bottom there. That's going to be an area where the main fuel is connected to. You know, the big orange looking tubey thing. And then we've got some of the engines. And there's the very back of the shuttle where those engines are connected to. Okay, that's what it looks like in the hole. All right, nice and clean. And then there's basically just one more sprue left, and that's the boosters and the fuel, I guess you call it the fuel What do you call that? I don't know, maybe someone can tell me. So very simple there, it's just in two halves, already joined at these points. And you can see this is the mounting point for the shuttle itself. So the shuttle is, if we bring that back, see those markings on the bottom here? That would just fit into these points and be sitting like that. So quite a nice, neat little model. And this is pretty much all your parts there. So really simple. There's no clear parts for the shuttle itself. But if you did want that clear, you could always make your own clear windscreens with something like crystal clear. Okay, so let's have a quick look here for some finer details. I mean, it's pretty good for such a simple kit. Alright, so you can see how this is the base of the boosters. Don't think I've got any focus there. That's better, isn't it? There we go. So you've got all the ribbing. You can see how they're joined together there. Just these points. There's the top of the boosters, top of the fuel, and then you've got the other side as well. So Academy do make some very good sort of basic kits. There's all location points, and you can see the pins on the opposing side. Okay, there you go. So that's the completion of all the plastic bits. Alright, so what else do you get inside the box? Well, you get this little warning, which is really important. It always tells you to check the parts before you unseal, because there's a good chance that all the parts are there. And if you're missing a bit, it could have fallen off and be in the bag. It's best to check here, because if you don't check, it's very hard for you to make a claim when you've already started a model. Okay, let's put that aside. Also, what have we got here? We've got some decals. Okay, so we've got the little plaque. So there's a plaque that will go on the front of your base there. And it just says Space Shuttle Orbiter. And then there's all the other smaller decals for the shuttle itself. So you've got all the different names there. You've got Atlantis, Endeavour, Columbia, Discovery, Enterprise. Got the American flags. And there's the plaque there. Quite sharply printed. Okay. Apart from that, we've got some more paperwork and then the instructions. So we've got a little basic guide there on how to use the particular tools for making a kit. How to put on decals. And then here we've got some little warnings. Just be careful with the tools, sharp knives and such. Continue there in multiple languages. And then we end up with the manual. So let's just zoom that out a bit so it all fits. Make sure I've got it focused. All right. So we've got the black and white version of the box art on the front. And then, well, there you go. That's pretty much it. So I guess the other important information is on the back. You've got your legend of all the parts. This is something you should check before you start. Just make sure all the parts are there and you're familiar with all the bits. You've got the painting and a decal placement guide there. And then the instructions are just very, very simple. Because it's a simple kit, there's not many parts. You've got the top and bottom halves of the shuttle fuselage going together with the vertical stabilizer. You've got the back plate with all the engines and the bulges. And then we've got the two halves of the boosters with the fuel tank. That's connected to the shuttle. And then you just fit it onto the base. That's pretty much it. So that's a nice little kit, quite educational. I mean, the shuttle was quite a revolution, I'd say, more than an evolution of space travel and what it's done for space programs in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, and then we've regressed to the next stage now with the SpaceX type machines. But that's really nice kit, very simple. It's not something that is going to take forever, but you'll be able to spend a bit of time to make the most out of it and bring out all the finer details. So there you go. Where's the box art? Here we go. There you go. That's the Academy 1 to 288 scale Space Shuttle with boosters. So thank you for watching.